I just got a juicer, and it's made in China, as you can see. So bad that without oiling it, it sticks. So this is going to be the beginning. This is going to be a video about repairing this thing here. This part here that was, instead of being reamed, it was just drilled, which means this shaft is not parallel with the base, and it's so loose that it cams in the hole and sticks. So I'll be boring it out on the mill and sleeving it with a stainless sleeve. Well, I have decided to do a video where I was not going to do a video, and so I've already disassembled my hand juicer, which is from China, which is, again, as we all know, a project that needs to be completed. Now, there's a lot of interesting things going on here. I was initially just going to replace this one rod that does not fit in the body very well, and so this whole thing moves all over the place. But while disassembling it, I recognized that it's like the whole thing is a mess. You can see this hole here, they just aimed by eye. There's no jig or anything. But what's interesting is they got the distances correct. These two parts fit together. So at any rate, I mean, I should preface this by saying I am now on the diet, which is from many, many years of studying. I've concluded that the correct diet is the one that consists of fruit or vegetables, but fruit is a restorative diet, and we've already seen Walter Kempner in the 40s, Arnold Arendt in the 1800s and early 1900s, and all the way up until today. And we have the McDougals and the Esselstyns and the Campbells and Furmans all strongly on board, but they haven't gone that extra step. They're still at the starch, vegetable, complex carbohydrate stage. Complex sugars, proteins, they need to be broken down by the body. Simple sugars like fructose not only require no insulin to get into the cells, but no breaking down before they get built back up into proteins. So at any rate, and I have to say from personal experience that after 25 years of being ill, I'm seeing dramatic improvements in my health. So at any rate, I am going to video this, and it's going to be a bunch of boring stuff. Boring, literally. What I've discovered about these links is that they are just links, and the relationship between the two pivot points is all that matters. This can go all over the place. Doesn't even have to match the casting. So it was just a visual thing that I saw. I decided what I decided to do was bore both of these at the same time, just because I felt like doing it. And it wasn't easy. My battery died, so I didn't have a camera, but I took 3 clamps and kind of juggled them around and got these little wedges in between. And so I've got these. I'm winging this thing. I mean, I'm doing this by eye. So I put these up here and visually looked at it, and then I'm looking at this and getting it visually right. And I know the relationship between these is perfect because I fit the parts I fit them together. Another thing that I've just discovered is that I'm already at 0.624 on these holes. Now, these are metric, and they're like 0.544, something like that. So I'm still going to bore these, but I'm going to bore them like 1,000th. So at any rate, I've got a sacrificial bar that I'm going to machine down and put in here so that I can line them up, because I'm not boring much. And that's about it for now. All right, I got the two parts in there. I'm just going to, and I've got the axle, the shaft that goes between them, just as a preliminary alignment method before I get the boring bar in there. Oh good, I got enough room here. Oops. So, yeah, it's nice having all these quills. They do come in handy. Alright, so oops, wrong way. Okay, yep, that's close. All right. I got that one within a thou. That's pretty funny. Wait a minute. Okay. I'll be damned. That's a pretty accurate method. The hole's pretty rough. But still, got it. So I'm set to roll. Let's just hope everything stays together. Okay, let's see what happens. Actually, I could probably just do it by hand. I'm never gonna know. Should be able to tell. Yes, okay, let's see how, let's back it off a little bit. Let's see what we got here. Yep, that's good. That's pretty slow. Well, yeah, actually that is pretty slow. Oh, there we are. Okay. To be continued. 0.618. So this is just quick and dirty. There isn't much going on here, especially considering where it's coming from. Dial in 10 and We should have enough clearance and everything. Yeah, I'm going to just pull it out fast. No spring cut, if there even is one. That thing's pretty stiff. Yeah, that's tight. Way too tight, but still, where are we? Yeah, 0.628. Huh. Oh, that's interesting. 626. Wow, I wonder what that is. Okay. I think I'm going to give it a bit here. Let's see, what do we want? Dial in a slop. I don't know, 3 thou. Give it a shot. Yeah, 32, something like that. That's probably, yeah, that's going to work. Excellent. Yep. Actually, that's just on the borderline. Okay. Yay. All right, I'm getting ready to make the alignment tool, jig, whatever you want to call it. Since we're already at 5/8 on these holes, almost. Well, yeah, we are. Well, almost. I can't goof around, so I've got to get this lined up, and so I'm going to turn that down, use this as an indicator. I got a new tool here. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. It was off of eBay, but it's Chinese. Come on, focus. It's Chinese. And the price was absolutely wild. I mean, everything including 10 inserts was the price of like 2 inserts if you bought it in the States. And here's what it does. On steel, I did... Don't know where focus is on this thing. But anyways, I think you can see, it's like you can see yourself in it. It's incredible. So it does finishing on steel like I can't believe. You can just get hair feather stuff off of this thing. I had some do I? No, I don't. I had some floating around. Oh, here's some. It's like super fine. Come on, man. Do something. Give me something. Anyways, yeah. So, all right, so I'm very close already. I don't want to take off a lot, like a couple of thou, although these holes are not really that round and they're different sizes, so we'll see. All I can say is whatever you dial in, it takes off. I mean, I'm dialing in like less than half a thou. Okay, that's, yeah, one of these is, I could ream all this, but this is more fun. Okay, so that's, wow. Now, I may go back and ream a little bit more. All right, we got one side going in. Five thou. This side? Yeah. All right, there we go. Yippee! Okay, we're off and running. I wonder if it works with these. Close. Okay. Well, this is the first time I've ever had the opportunity to use something that I got from an auction a long time ago. It's a precision precision right angle with like this flag thing coming out. It gets me around this and gives me at least a good sense of whether or not this thing is up, vertical. And there's a little bit of slop, but I'm just going between the two end points, and thank God for auctions. I've got one hole dialed in. That one's vertical. I dialed this one in with the machine, and this is the part about the decal that I absolutely love. All I have to do is one setup. Come in here, bore that, put the boring head in there. So I'll show you that. Well, this thing ended up not being it has a little bit of slop in it, so I had to support it. I didn't think I'd have to do that, and I didn't want to move the vise, so I ended up putting a small boring bar in. Meanwhile, I dialed this hole in. This hole's now out, so it's not a big deal, but I got a little extra work to do. Hey, I just got two more Banggood lights. This is really cool. And they're all different. They've all got little different things. This one over here, one of them has a hole in the side. I can't figure that out. They got different names on the back of them. Anyways, I'm pretty happy. That looks good. What do we have? 628. Okay, so what I want to try to do is I don't know what the repeatability of this table is. But let's give this a shot. I think it's pretty repeatable. What do we have here? Well, we're about to find out what the repeatability is. I'm going back. It's aluminum, so it's kind of gauzy. Huh. Wow. Ugly. Huh. What the hell, man? Kind of surprised. I don't know if I measured that wrong. No, that's really odd. Maybe there's a burr on this thing. Oh, there is. Okay, if we're going this way, shouldn't have been a problem. Oh, that's odd. Oh, there's a burr on that end too. Ha ha ha. Okay, well I got some homework to do. At least I got some new files. Well, let's give it a shot. It's got an indexing pin. I'm guessing it's pretty close. I mean, I could indicate everything in, but good Lord. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Let's try. I think I already did a spring pass. I did. So, give it a couple of thou. Oh yeah, this is going to take a while. It's pretty slow. Well, it looks like the repeatability is pretty good. I'm just dusting off a couple of thou and there's nothing funny going on. Just enough slop. Probably a couple of thou on each side, about a couple of thou on each side. Hopefully enough for dried orange juice, grapefruit juice, whatever. What happened was when I tightened this down, this is aluminum and it also has some roughness to it. So it changed. You can probably see it. Yeah, as I turn it, the gap opens up. So I stuck some shin stock in down here. And I'm going between the two. Okay. Pretty close to going between the two extremes. Like I said, I'm winging it. It's not cleaning up on the bottom. The hole is so out of shape. Damn. It's gonna work. All right, I got these journals lined up using this bar, and I've got everything kind of everything's clamped down. It's really clamped down. There's curved surface here, and I've got some aluminum down here that crunches a little bit. So the basic idea is, I know this isn't perfect, and the holes are a mess, and they're really hard to indicate. So what I'm going to do is instead of boring the whole way, which would be really easy, just bore the whole thing and done. I'm going to locate these, bore them, flip the table around 180, locate these and bore them. Got some deer out there, a buck, and that mother has a couple of babies. They're really cute. Okay, so these holes are so messed up. I've machined a piece, got it in there, and I can indicate off of this end. Flipped it around. This is the last one. And, well, okay, I'll show you. All right, this one came out a little bit out of line. That's the nice thing about boring all in one setup. And, you know, it's my fault. I mean, the holes weren't good, but that's no excuse. As you can see, they didn't really clean up. I mean, I'm taking so little out. So what I could have done is done an intermediate tool, bored part of the diameter, made another intermediate tool, relocated my holes, something like that. I don't know if that. No, I'm not sure that really would have. I would have had to use the digital readout. No, I'm not sure. It's a tough problem trying to locate two holes that are a mess independently. I'd have to think about that for a while. But at any rate, I just bored this out like 2 thou more, and everything's, I mean, it's actually really tight. And these I made a little bit looser, but it's got to be like that. It's going to get goop in it and stuff. It's time to find out whether or not I can do this on the lathe. I've got the squish thing that actually squishes the fruit. And this has to be bored out to 5/8. This also has to be bored out to 5/8. I'm hoping this runs concentric enough. It's like 570 thou, so it can't be too out of round. And if it is, then this whole thing's going to have to happen on the mill, which I don't really want to do. This is so much easier. Ooh. There's a gap in there, folks. That's okay. This is a thin part. Well, I may have some, let's see. We're good. This thing isn't too far out, but it has a shoulder in there that I have to conform with. Eight. No, it's acting funny. It's not very sharp. I'm going to call it 0.4. I need as much as I can get. So let's Call this, yeah, 0. And go from there. Get a hole that we can measure. Well, this simple little 2-hour project has turned into several days, which is fine. I actually decided I wanted to really work on the whole thing, and I put a few of the parts together last night, and to be honest, it's like night and day. I cannot believe how sloppy that thing was. Meanwhile, this part is just, it's too thin this way and too thin this way, and I'm too lazy to machine up the thin ring that would be required to go in there to make this thing actually come out into the actual jaws rather than behind them. And I don't think it's running true. So I'm actually going to change. This is the one thing about a 6-jaw that is not fun, not good. It takes a while. Well, I reversed the jaws and it ends up that they don't go this small. So I think we've got something to work with here, hopefully. And if this is the same as before, then I'll just stick the jaws back on. But it didn't seem right. I've never put anything that far back in the jaws. Oh, yeah. I do believe it's running true now. Yep. And it makes sense because, I mean, they would have turned that. So, all right, I'm back to where I started. Edge. I mean, the way it was before, it was flopping around. It was absolutely crazy. Okay, that's tight, still tight, but a little bit. So we're basically there. All right. Okay. I think a spring pass. I'm not sure if I even need a spring pass. All right. Okay, I've got the bar installed, and all I'm going to do, the basic idea is I'm just going to swivel the table. I've got this is all tight, and now I want to just sweep the thing. I have no idea where I am. Okay. All right, we got our last cut, and it's like, yeah. So that, okay, so it's onward. I got a few bushings to do. Well, it's really hard to locate this outside piece because it's just a mess. And the threaded hole isn't exactly in the center, but what I found was there's this thing that fits on the outside that holds it all on, that holds everything in there. And it's like a cheap toolmaker's button. It's accurate. So what I'm going to do is bolt it on and I'm going to indicate off of that, go in and bore it. So we'll see what happens. Okay, this is new to me. I've never done anything like this, boring the outside of something. And you need a left turning tool to do it. And I didn't have that. I've got this ancient boring bar that I've never even used. It came with my very first lathe. I ground a tool, and the tool is like made out of really crappy tool steel. So I'm not sure this is going to work. I don't even know if I want to go here. But, and it's round, so I can aim it in any direction I want. And I think I got it aimed about right. I'm about to try this. Oh, it's cutting. By the way, the part is like not flat. Okay, so, so I'm coming out, I'm going the opposite. I'm going in for my cuts. I'm going to just give it another shot before. Actually sounds fairly concentric, in fact. Yeah, now it's not cutting at all. So for some reason it wore on the inside. Okay. Well, this thing seems to be working, so let's go to the DRO and call that 0. Okay. And, oops, let's not. Yeah, decals aren't big, but they can do big work, but I found myself at the end of my travel here. Okay, so call that 0. Oops, Y. Yep, that's Y. So, do I have travel? I think. Yeah, I do. Okay, so let's give it another 10. I don't even know how much I'm taking off. Not a lot. This is kind of fun. I didn't think I was going to be able to do this. 10. I accidentally ground the right tool. I mean, it already looks like a part. Wow. Not bad. So evidently the cheapo toolmaker's button worked out too. Gosh. I love this. I wonder if... cutting on the bottom, but not the top. So, okay, but it's close. Wow, we almost have a concentric circle. Okay. So it didn't clean up on this side, but there's enough of the circle there that I'm calling it quits because I don't want to get too small. Although if this thing breaks, I can just make a new one. I just want to thank Joe Piezinski for the excellent advice that he gave me. I just finished tapping 4 holes in what seemed like, well, I guess all stainless is nasty. It's either cutting or it's getting hard. And his advice was just really great. So what I did was I decreased the thread engagement and I dropped it down to 55 and it was still nasty. So I just went up, and it's not a crucial thread. It's not going to hold something to some spec. So I've broken a lot of taps in my life. You know, I'm envious of those people who've never broken one. So thank you, Joe. You saved me. Time for the bushings. I turned these down, so I've got to put something on to make them happy. Okay. All right, the last boring. Not even sure where I'm going with this. Yep. 30 thou. So I also ended up, there's these washers that fit. There were washers that fit around these, so I've got to make new washers. This turned into a project. Wow, I love this tool. Absolutely incredible. It's like carbide. It's like a hand-cut tool. It's been honed, but it's carbide. Spur-of-the-moment decision-making. I've decided I wasn't going to press these in, but I'm going to press them in. There isn't going to be a lot of pressing going on, but that, yeah. So now, parting off. Also, I'm absolutely loving this Banggood part-off tool. It just totally makes life bearable. Right. To the untrained eye, this is just a juicer. But you know better. When I first started out, this thing moved back and forth it had to move back and forth an inch. And the same, this might have been a ½ inch. I should have done something before. I thought this was going to be really simple, really quick, and then I just went full bore on it. So basically, I mean, it's, and there's no slop, relatively no slop. I mean, I had to put some in here, but yeah, there it is. And I guess I should juice things, but in all honesty, I'm on a 20-day grape fast right now, where I'm only eating like that many grapes per day. And I don't eat until noon. Fasting is an extremely important facet of restorative detoxification, and among other things. My morning drink that I get up with is a grapefruit, 2 oranges, half a lemon, and a lime, and it's absolutely it's something I could never get tired of, no matter how I felt. So, I can't demonstrate it, but suffice it to say, it's going to be functional now.